doesn't love a delicious chocolate chip cookie? Today I'm going to show you a simple recipe for a chewy cookie with ingredients you likely already have at home. Along the way, I'll show you how you can tweak the recipe to make it your own. First, you'll need 1 cup melted unsalted butter. You can use salted butter as well, just remember to not include the salt later on in the recipe. 1 cup brown sugar. The browner the sugar, the chewier your cookie will end up being. Fun fact, the more molasses there is in the sugar, the browner the sugar becomes. Half a cup of granulated white sugar, 2 eggs, 1.5 teaspoons vanilla extract, 2 cups of flour. Personally, I use 1 cup all-purpose flour and 1 cup bread flour. The higher content of protein in bread flour adds to the chewiness of the final cookie. 1 teaspoon baking soda, half a teaspoon of salt, 1.5 cups of chocolate chips. Here I use semi-sweet chocolate chips, but you can have fun. You can pick all kinds of chocolate. You can have dark chocolate, you can have milk chocolate, you can combine them as you wish. Have fun with it and make your own cookie. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to take the melted butter, the brown sugar, and the white sugar, and you're simply going to mix them together. I'm going to use a whisk in this instance, but you can use a stand-up mixer, you can use a spatula, you can use whatever you have handy. Just make sure that they're really well incorporated together. We're now going to include the 2 eggs and vanilla. Continue to make sure that it's well mixed together. Put the wet mixture to the side. For the dry ingredients, we're going to mix them together separately. The reason for this is mainly for the baking soda. You want the baking soda to be evenly spread throughout the cookie dough, so your cookies rise evenly when baking in the oven. Add your baking soda and add your salt. Now this mixture is super important to make sure that it's well incorporated throughout. Just make sure you mix, and there's no over mixing with this particular mixture, so keep going until you're comfortable knowing that it's evenly spread throughout. Now you're simply going to mix the wet mixture and the dry mixture together. Now you're simply going to mix the wet mixture and the dry mixture together. Add in your choice of chocolate. Mix, mix, mix. Now I'll show you a really cool way to keep your cookies. You can wrap them in a tube to keep them in the fridge or freezer. Get some saran wrap, and you're basically going to scoop the cookie dough into the saran wrap. Once you're done evening it out, you're going to want to make sure that the saran wrap is taut before you roll the saran wrap. I find it's helpful to shape the dough before I roll it. Once I'm happy with the shape, I roll it like a saran wrap burrito. Before you put it in the fridge or freezer, just make sure the saran wrap is wrinkle free so you can get the dough out easier. If you freeze your dough, you can just unwrap it from the saran wrap and cut it into discs before you bake. Now you should put dough in the fridge overnight, but I don't know any human that's strong enough to do that. Since I like big fat cookies, I use about 2 tablespoons of dough per cookie. Make sure your oven is preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. You're going to bake these for about 7 to 8 minutes. 10 minutes if you actually cooled them in the fridge, and closer to 13 minutes if they're out of the freezer. You'll know they're ready by watching for browning around the edges. The trick to cookies remaining chewy is to not overbake them. Once the edges have a bit of browning, take them out. If you're using a darker cookie sheet like shown, the bottom of the cookie will cook relatively quickly. Now these cookies are fresh out of the oven. You'll notice because we didn't cool these ones, they're started to splay out near the bottom of the cookie. That's okay, it's still going to be a delicious cookie. Also notice the top of the cookie doesn't really have that much color to it. This cookie is done at this point if you want to make sure it retains its chewy quality. This is what my cookies look like after they had been chilled and then baked. You'll notice near the edges of the cookie that the dough didn't spread out, and so it's a much prettier cookie. Now here's the final cookie. Notice the coloring around the edges of the cookie as well as the top of the cookie. Once you break into the cookie, you can see the texture there, that it's still going to retain some of its chewiness. Hope you've enjoyed the first Bill Hanna baking video. Comment below and let me know how your cookies came out. If you like this video and want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button below to be notified of future videos. See you when I see ya!